Hello everyone and welcome to Module 1 the Lesson 7. Today we are deep dive to define project scope. Today, we'll discuss the critical importance of defining the project scope. Establishing a well-defined project scope is foundational for successful project management, ensuring clarity, managing expectations, and optimizing resource allocation. Let's explore these points in detail. The first key point is that defining the project scope establishes a clear understanding among all stakeholders. It details what the project will deliver, its boundaries, and constraints. This shared understanding helps align everyone's efforts towards common objectives and ensures that all team members, stakeholders, and clients are on the same page regarding project goals and deliverables. Secondly, a well-defined project scope manages expectations and prevents scope creep. Scope creep occurs when additional features or requirements are added to the project without corresponding adjustments to time, cost, or resources. By clearly outlining what is included and excluded from the project, stakeholders can make informed decisions and avoid unnecessary changes that can derail the project. Defining the project scope also enables effective resource allocation. With a clear scope, project managers can plan and assign resources, time, budget, personnel, and equipment more accurately. This ensures that resources are used efficiently and that the project is delivered on schedule and within budget, minimizing waste and optimizing productivity. In conclusion, defining the project scope is crucial for establishing a clear understanding among stakeholders, managing expectations, and preventing scope creep, as well as enabling effective resource allocation. By setting clear boundaries and objectives, projects are more likely to succeed, meeting their goals on time and within budget. In this block, we'll break down the key elements that constitute a well-defined project scope. Understanding these elements, objectives, deliverables, boundaries, assumptions, and constraints, is essential for clearly outlining the project and ensuring successful execution. The first element is objectives. Objectives are specific, measurable goals that the project aims to achieve. They provide direction and serve as benchmarks for success. Clearly defined objectives ensure that all project activities are aligned with the desired outcomes, helping to keep the project on track and focused on its goals. Next are deliverables. Deliverables are tangible or intangible products or results that the project will produce. They can include reports, software, products, or any other outcome specified by the project scope. Clearly defining deliverables ensures that all stakeholders understand what will be produced and can measure progress effectively. Boundaries outline what is included and excluded from the project. They help set clear limits on the project's scope, preventing scope creep and ensuring that resources are focused on the agreed-upon objectives. By defining boundaries, project managers can manage stakeholder expectations and avoid confusion about what the project will deliver. Assumptions are conditions believed to be true for planning purposes but are not guaranteed. These can include resource availability, market conditions, or technological capabilities. Documenting assumptions helps identify potential risks and allows the project team to plan for contingencies if those assumptions prove incorrect. Constraints are limitations or restrictions that the project must operate within, such as budget, time, and resource limits. Recognizing these constraints from the outset allows project managers to plan accordingly and make informed decisions to navigate these limitations effectively, ensuring the project remains feasible and on track. In conclusion, a well-defined project scope comprises clear objectives, deliverables, boundaries, assumptions, and constraints. Understanding and documenting these elements are crucial for guiding project activities, managing expectations, and ensuring successful project completion. In this segment, we'll explore various techniques for defining project scope. These techniques, stakeholder analysis, requirements gathering, decomposition, and benchmarking, are essential for ensuring that the project scope is clear, comprehensive, and achievable. Let's dive into these techniques. The first technique is stakeholder analysis. This involves identifying all stakeholders, individuals or groups who have an interest in the project, and understanding their needs, expectations, and influence. By engaging with stakeholders early and regularly, project managers can gather crucial insights and ensure that the project scope aligns with stakeholder requirements and expectations, minimizing conflicts and enhancing project buy-in. Next is requirements gathering. This process involves collecting and documenting the needs and expectations of stakeholders to define what the project must deliver. Techniques such as interviews, surveys, workshops, and focus groups can be used to gather detailed requirements. Clear and comprehensive requirements help ensure that the project scope accurately reflects what is needed for success, reducing the risk of misunderstandings and rework. Decomposition is another critical technique. It involves breaking down the project scope into smaller, more manageable components or work packages. This hierarchical decomposition helps in understanding the detailed tasks and deliverables required to complete the project. By breaking down the scope, project managers can better estimate resources, time, and costs, leading to more accurate planning and execution. Benchmarking is a valuable technique for defining project scope by comparing the project with similar projects or industry standards. By analyzing the performance, processes, and outcomes of other projects, project managers can identify best practices, set realistic goals, and establish performance metrics. Benchmarking provides a reference point that helps in setting achievable targets and understanding potential challenges. In conclusion, techniques such as stakeholder analysis, requirements gathering, decomposition, and benchmarking are essential for defining a clear and comprehensive project scope. By employing these techniques, project managers can ensure that the project scope is well-defined, achievable, and aligned with stakeholder expectations, setting the foundation for successful project execution. In this final segment, we'll discuss the importance of documenting the project scope. This involves creating a scope statement, understanding its key content, and obtaining formal approval. Let's explore these aspects in detail. The scope statement is a crucial document that formalizes the project scope. It provides a detailed description of the project, including its objectives, deliverables, boundaries, assumptions, and constraints. The scope statement serves as a reference point throughout the project, ensuring all stakeholders have a clear understanding of what the project entails. The content of a scope statement typically includes several key elements. Project objectives, clear and measurable goals that the project aims to achieve. Project deliverables, specific outputs or products that will be produced by the project. Project boundaries, definitions of what is included and excluded from the project. Assumptions, conditions assumed to be true for planning purposes. Constraints, limitations such as budget, time, and resources. Acceptance criteria, the standards or requirements that deliverables must meet to be accepted by stakeholders. Project exclusions, explicitly stating what is out of scope to prevent misunderstandings. Documenting these elements ensures that all aspects of the project are well-defined and agreed upon by all stakeholders. Once the scope statement is drafted, it must be reviewed and approved by key stakeholders. This approval process is crucial for formalizing the scope and ensuring that everyone agrees on the project's objectives, deliverables, and boundaries. Obtaining formal approval also serves as a commitment from stakeholders to support the project within the defined scope, helping to prevent scope creep and ensure alignment throughout the project lifecycle. In conclusion, documenting the project scope through a comprehensive scope statement and obtaining formal approval are essential steps in project management. These steps ensure clarity, prevent misunderstandings, and provide a solid foundation for project execution. By carefully documenting and approving the project scope, organizations can enhance project success and stakeholder satisfaction. In this module on defining project scope, we covered the importance of establishing a clear scope to ensure understanding, manage expectations, and allocate resources effectively. We discussed key scope elements such as objectives, deliverables, boundaries, assumptions, and constraints, and explored techniques like stakeholder analysis, requirements gathering, decomposition, and benchmarking. Finally, we emphasized the significance of documenting the project scope through a detailed scope statement and obtaining formal approval to provide a solid foundation for project success. Thank you for your time, and we will see you in Module 2 of the Lesson 6. Also, thank you for the support. Like and subscribe to the channel.